Just an email that I wanted to share with the board from Rick Meter, who is from he's our landscape architect for the city of Novi. He was happy to share that we have some trees on the library's property that need to be removed and then replaced, and the city's tree fund will be supporting that, so we'll see that from the city, so we thank them so much. And Jeff Muck, who also worked from Parks and Rec to make this happen, I'd like to put a shout out to him as well. So I really appreciate the city helping us out with this. We do have a few trees that we've lost over the last couple of years, and a couple harsh winters, and some bushes as well, and we'll be working to make those changes.
I think this is just another example of the city and the library and the broader community really working together for the betterment of Novi. So I never want to lose a chance to thank the city for the way they work with the various groups around.
Yep, I agree. Thank you. And then below that one, another email, and this is an email that went out from April Stevenson, our head of information services, just thanking, it went to all the Novi Community School District media specialists, thanking them for their support and the willingness to work with the library when we went out and they did all of their skits for summer reading and promoting the program. I'm happy to tell you that we've only been into our summer reading program just over 2 weeks, and we have 2,001. That was as of yesterday, so I know the stats have already changed.
Bravo.
People signed up. Yes, so we still have 2 full months left. I know. 2 full months still left, all of July and August, because they decided, the youth department, God bless them, and the librarians, to take the summer reading program all the way to the end of summer, right up leading into school. And the reason they did that is some conversations with the school district and counting books instead of pages, and then continuing that reading as they come back into that fall schedule. So if you continue to do that reading through the summer, I've always told my kids, and they laugh at me now, but now they repeat it. If you're not reading and you're not exercising that brain, cobwebs grow, and we say that all the time. So my staff doesn't want any cobwebs, and they've taken that summer reading program to the end of August, which I think is amazing. It's very long and it is tiring, but they do it with a smile and they do a great job, and there's so much going on right now. So this was a thank you to them. The schools are wonderful. They've been wonderful partners with us, and they welcome all of our crazy ideas, and as you can see, they're tutus and hippos and stuff that came, and so I really want to thank them as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what my comment's going to be.
I do know.
Where are we with the Walled
Walled
Lake
Lake.
School District on any of this?
And we're getting
Do we
there.
have some of the same kind of cooperation? Because you could have more than 2,000.
Yes.
Because, there are a
Yes.
couple of
We
Walled
do,
Lake schools.
and we have specific schools that we reach out to, and we do try to get up there. We send information, and we've got one particular librarian, one of the media specialists in the Walled Lake District, that does take all of our information and passes it on. So we do have one good, and we're working on more.
Well, we do have that goal of more
do.
engagement at the north end.
Yes.
And Walled Lake schools are just an open door
Right.
in order to achieve that.
Yep, you are absolutely correct. So for us, it's just to continue and to build is what we're doing.
Yeah, excellent job.
Right, I think we've got one, yes, we've got one. It's hard, Northville, most elementary schools, they're going directly, like, do you know what I mean? They're connecting with Northville. So but in terms of the numbers, we found that it's still greater with Northville residents. With Walled Lake, though, the Hickory Woods and Meadowbrook, it's predominantly Novi. It's hard to see what happens is there's a misunderstanding. You get in there and you're like, oh, come to Novi Library and hang out with us, but the kids don't understand that if they don't have a card, they've got to get that card somewhere else first, and they're not really a Novi resident. So so the other kids hear that, and then they come to Novi, and they might not be a Novi resident, and then there's that misunderstanding. So we try to be real careful with just that message, but absolutely. We, in fact, Cook School and I think the media specialist from there. Yes, we've got that media specialist as well, so we do, yep. Thank
Is
you.
that Thornton Creek, maybe?
Thornton Creek,
Yeah.
it is, yes. And then on page 21, I'm really excited to share this information. This is a huge kudos to Jesse Shank. So Jesse is one of our full-time librarians, works primarily with fiction and things like that, is on the Community Reads committee with me. I had asked her if last year if she would take on as one of her goals to work towards getting one of our levels completed through the state, through the Department of Michigan, or Department of Education for the state of Michigan, and we did. We achieved our essential. We just finished a press release, so it'll go out in the newspaper, we'll get it, and then we'll be sharing it across the city and making a bigger splash for it. But I'm really excited because this level is now met. There are two other levels that we can get to, which is enhanced and excellent. And she has, from what I understand, already worked on the enhanced and turned it in. We just haven't heard yet. So as soon as we do, we'll let you know. But we've never got past the essential level. We've never been able to work towards getting to that excellent, and we're making strides, and we're really putting some effort towards doing that in the next year.
You allude to some of the standards that are required. We have to have more patrons, more checkouts. I mean, it becomes part of numbers as well as quality of service.
It does, and it also, some of the things for excellent, it's even board members involved at an MLA capacity or at a state level or talking to reps and things like that. So some of that.
Sign us up.
Okay, great, all right. Absolutely, I can. I'll give you some things that are specific to the board if we haven't met them yet.
At least I'd like to see.
Sure,
Yeah.
okay, I can give you the questions or share some of that information. Be happy to, okay.
I think that, if we're putting this out and the Parks and Rec Department just achieved its very high standard, and the police department and if I have their high standard, and we already have it in our finance department, it seems that the library should stand shoulder to shoulder with those achievements.
I agree.
And to echo and piggyback on what Trustee Wood and Trustee Picard said, I think if there's things that the board can do to help,
Sure.
we definitely want to know to get us to the next level for sure.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
that's
Yes.
amazing, Julie.
Exciting.
Any other conversation on that or discussion? Okay. Moving on. Item number 7. We do not have a presentation or special guest today.
We do not.
And that brings us to item number 8, public comment. In order to hear all citizen comments at a reasonable hour, the library board requests that speakers respect the 5-minute time limit. This is not a question-answer session, therefore, library board members will not respond to questions. It is an opportunity to voice your thoughts with the Novi Public Library Board of Trustees. And no one is coming forward, so we will move on to item 9, which is the student representatives report with Ravina.
So this is the May 2018 report for the programs. The Cinco de Mayo celebration took place on May 4th. Attendees enjoyed Mexican-style buffet foods. 60 people attended. The first Teen Volunteer Orientation Summer Reading Program took place on May 22nd. This is a required orientation meeting for teens who have already submitted applications to be volunteers for the summer reading program.
It's great.
Information and demonstration of new software were presented by staff, followed by a Q&A. 21 people attended. The second Teen Volunteer Orientation Summer Reading Program took place on May 23rd, and 13 people attended. The Pizza and Pages Book Club took place on May 23rd. Attendees read the book, Save Me a Seat by Sarah Weeks. The purpose of this book club is to encourage tweens to read and also allow tweens to practice for the Battle of Books program that the library holds annually. 6 people attended. For the Teen Space update, there were 464 attendees in Teen Space in the month of May. Teen Space was closed on Friday, May 25th, and Monday, May 28th, due to the library's closure. The total from September 2017 to May 2018 in Teen Space is 5,990. In September, 740, October, 1,048, November, 970, December, 558, January, 525, February, 650, March, 579, April, 456, and May, 464. For the Teen Advisory Board update, the final TAB meeting of the year took place on May 18th. At this meeting, members enjoyed ice cream with various toppings, cookies, and other snack-sized foods. The officer positions were then introduced and discussed. The elections for officers took place shortly after, and the TAB picture was taken. The positions of President, Vice President, Secretary, Activities Director, and Historian were voted on. These officers will serve TAB for the upcoming 2018 to 2019 school year. 20 people attended. For the upcoming programs, YouTube karaoke will take place July 3rd, Henna Tattoo Workshop July 11th, Tween Pizza and Pages Book Club July 18th, and the Phoenix Free Running Academy July 25th. For the captions of the pictures, teens enjoy Mexican-style foods at the Cinco de Mayo celebration. For the next picture, some of the TAB members of 2017 to 2018. And finally, please join me in welcoming our 2 summer teen leaders to the library, Elia and then Quina. When you see them working at the summer reading program information table, please introduce yourself and let them know how happy we are to have them with us during the summer.
And these 2 particular students, they went through an interview process, and they're actually paid a stipend of $500 each from the Friends of the Novi Library
Nice.
if they complete a number of hours through the summer and taking part and taking a leadership role with the library. They work with a lot of the volunteers and, work with them at the volunteer desk for check-in for the summer reading program. So it's really great that the Friends also were involved in this and supporting some students as well.
That's awesome. Thank you, Ravina.
I
would
just have
like
one
to-
question.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
What is the book they're reading for the July book club?
And for the next one,
I don't have it. I don't,
Oh, that's okay. I was just curious.
I can find out for you.
Yeah. I would like to comment on the fact that TAB seems to have picked up some young men, which is good to see.
That's good.
It is.
Yeah, and I just wanted to quickly say, and maybe this is a reminder, as well as a confirmation, so correct me if I'm wrong, we as board members are always able to drop in to these things and support. I know
Yes.
that Jeff was able to attend one, was it this year?
Yes?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, so it's, and Bill.
Yep, that's right, Bill did too.
Awesome. So that's something that we can always keep in mind.
Absolutely.
Surprise, Ravina.
And those will be starting back up when the school starts, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Were the positions of president that were they announced already?
they
Did
were.
know?
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ravina. We appreciate it. All right. Moving on to item number 10 is President's Report. So that will start with, let's see, our 2017-18 Board Goals Update, which is on page 27.
28.
Yes, there are no goals. It'll be for
Okay.
July.
Okay.
The final update will come, and that'll be the end of the year.
Okay, so we'll move past that.
Yes.
Okay. And then B is the proposed goals, it's kind of the same situation. And then C, and we'll do this a little bit later, but we are going to have an executive session, correct?
Yes,
So-
we are.
But that'll be a little bit later. As we're
Correct.
closer, so just a note.
If I can.
Yeah,
We
yes.
forgot something, and I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
We were supposed to make an add to the agenda,
Okay,
and we didn't. when the-
okay.
When the meeting
For the
started.
policy,
Yes.
right?
So if we could do that.
We can do
so
that.
we can, I just realized as we got down to present, we're just moving right along here this evening, people, and
Are.
I didn't want to get there and not have it.
Yeah, yeah,
So we actually have a matters for board action that that I'm bringing to your attention. It is a policy change revision, and it is to approve policy P1, the library card issuance and renewal. This is a current policy, but I'm bringing you some revisions tonight that I look forward to talking to you about during that point of the meeting, if we can add that to the agenda. I do think you will need to do a motion to do that.
Yep, I'm going to, I didn't want to cut you off.
Yes, thank you.
So I wanted to make a motion to add D, under President's Report, a policy manual for matters for board action.
Should that go to 15B?
Yeah, it should be 15B.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So let's do that. Melissa, you want to make it?
Okay. Motion to add 15B, policy change for library card, to the agenda.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Okay, it's
Thank you. I
added.
apologize for that.
No worries. Okay. Like you said, we're zooming through, so I
We
think
are.
we'll be just fine. Thank you, Melissa, for that. Okay, so now, speaking of Melissa, item 11 is the treasurer's report.
All right. Starts on page 30. And the numbers I will be discussing are actually on page 34. Sorry. Yeah, 30 to 33, sorry. Budget for Fund 268 on pages 30 through 33. Julie, please confirm, am I reading the approved or the amended, or should I kind of explain both?
I think what you can do is just work from the approved, because
Okay.
the actual financials, they have not made those changes yet with the city, even though the board has amended them. I think you're fine with that.
So if you look on the report, on the orange, there's approved and there's amended. Approved is the one that we've been working with for the whole year. The amended one is the one we just recently voted on, but that's the one the city hasn't quite caught up with us yet. So I'm just going to read the approved budget. Approved budget for Fund 268, fiscal year 2017-18, calls for revenue of $2,901,020 and in expenditures of $3,032,296, consuming $131,476 of the fund balance. I will say the amended budget looks a lot better.
It does, yeah. But since they haven't
Right.
mirrored it yet,
Sure. Revenue and expenditure report for Fund 268 starts on page 36, and it goes to page 38. If you look at the year-to-date balance column, which is the third from the end, effective May 31st. So revenue year-to-date ending May 31st, 2018, was $2,925,266. It's an increase of $25,860. Our expenditures ending May 31st, 2018, was $2,548,142. That was an increase of $203,908. And if you look below that, you can see that net revenue is showing $377,124. And we still have 1 month more to go of the 2017-18 budget. Yes, Jeff? I see your eyes. Can feel it.
Does it look like then we'll finish with the surplus?
It is looking that way based on past performance of, what comes in the final, last 45 to 60 days.
right. And we
So-
actually have until August for all invoices to be encumbered, but I am confident.
Yep.
Yep,
We'll clap when it happens.
fine,
Right?
you can.
I am cautiously optimistic.
Yes.
Is that a good choice of words? Okay. Revenue and expenditure report for Fund 269, which is on page 39. Revenue year-to-date is $40,455.70, and expenditures were $27,135.55. So you can see that we have net revenue of $13,320.15. Any questions about that?
Can't find that.
Okay, page 40 is our balance sheet. The balance sheet for Fund 268 shows our fund balance as of May 31st, 2018 of $2,212,164.54. And fund balance 269 as of May 31st, 2018 shows our fund balance of $1,704,620.03. That is my report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And how would you summarize where we are?
I think we are very much on track, and I'm hoping that in the next year or two that we can actually have a balanced budget at the beginning of the year.
All right, thank you, Melissa. Any other questions for Melissa? All right, we'll move forward to 12. Item number 12 is Director's Report.
Great. Okay, on page 42, bringing you the information for our month of June for anniversaries. We have a number of them. Nancy Bowden, who is with our support services staff, she's one of our processors of materials, 22 years. Catherine Huff, June 11th, and that is 10 years. She's also with Support Services, and she's in our processing department. Mary Gruel, June 23rd, 10 years. She's also with processing. Julie Prottengeyer, she is June 2nd, and that is 4 years. And Lindsay Fricky, June 1st, that is 3 years. Lindsay's our teen librarian. Julie, as you know, works in the admin office. Not here because she's on vacation. We're happy to have Marcia. Laura Bateman, June 16th, and she is support services, one of our clerks. She's been here 3 years. Eileen Mazzarello, June 19th, she's 1 year, she is one of our shelvers. And Joseph Plotsky, he is one of our part-time facilities assistants, and June 27th, and 1 year, he is just getting ready to celebrate. So we have, June seems to be a month where we've done hires. Just below that is some information about summer reading. Now this says as of June 12th, so 12 days into the program, it was a total of 1,100. As you see, I gave you a much higher number. It's over 2,000. And that's just almost 3 weeks into the program. So I put the goal for 2018. That is April Stevenson's and her department's goal. So I wanted you to see that. They're hoping that they get there this summer. Page 43, you have information from the health department. They did a stop-in at the cafe. There was actually a call that they received from a patron that was concerned about ants. And so they came out and did an inspection. They also worked with the facilities team, my team. We have regular inspections, and we also do spraying, and it's on a quarterly basis for the building. There were no ants that were actually seen and found in the cafe area, so I just wanted you to be alerted to
Did
that.
they find anything else?
They did not. He thinks it's a wonderfully clean cafe.
I have a quick question for you. I'm sorry. Did you have a question first?
Yes.
Can you remind me when that lease expires?
Yes, June 1st of 2019.
Is that that's Melissa? She has to apply.
Okay, really quick. I'm just curious, did they complain within the library first?
They did not.
They went
called
straight
the
to the health department
directly.
Wow, okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mhm, absolutely. Yep.
Any other questions on that? Sorry, I know.
No.
Okay.
No, that was a great question. Thank you. Page 45, this starts the information technology report for Barbara Kowski. As you can see, a great photo of the Enable assembly that they had at Orchard Hills, and then they got out to Deerfield. So the Enable group did get to all 5 elementary schools, which was their goal. They are close to 200 hands. We've had a couple hands break and fall apart, and at this time, we're just under 200. We just finished we had our last public assembly day, which was in June on the 23rd, and so we'll be very close to that. We've got still a number of hands that need to be fully assembled. They've been started, and we've got another date. We just had a meeting this week so that we can get them finished, and then we're looking for locations. We have a couple locations that we'll be shipping out to that we've been able to make partnerships with. So we're excited
I
about
would like
that.
to thank Julie
Sure.
and the Novi High School and Middle School robotics team for coming to Fox Run to kind of talk about the hands and spend some time. They're very good with us. and
They
so,
were excited to be there.
yeah, it
I know
was
that we had
great.
received some donations, actually, from Fox Run. It was from their interdenominational group and then from a personal donation. So with the
With
amount of,
promises from the Catholic Council on its way.
yes, so there's another one since the Monday demo that's coming in for another donation. And it was nice for the residents to see the project and connect with them. So I think there were about 14 students that went, and then they also brought their robot as well, but they had a table and different hands, different sizes, and they were able to interact with the
And parents were
residents.
there, which was really great.
Yep, yep. But let's see, beyond that, just some updates as to what's going on with training, which Barb mentions, and also some staff sessions on Minecraft and Unity, which is a game development software. So there's always new things that they're coming up with. I can't even keep track of them. There's so many things. I think they're having a lot of fun in that department, that's for sure. Page 47 at the top, just a couple things to highlight. From facilities report by Keith Perfect. We did have a window cleaning, and our HVAC vendor did their preventative maintenance. We had the mulching done, and we're working on some weed control and getting the grounds looking a little better. We added more bulbs. I don't know if you noticed them on 10 Mile, but there were more bulbs added in the fall, and they came up this spring, so it's much more colorful. And then below that begins April Stevenson's report for our Information Services Department. A lot of great things. On page 49, some great photos of some programs that have taken place. What I want to point out, and I always am very proud of, is what's going on with the 1,000 books before kindergarten. And as you can see, lots of activity there and more children that are, finishing and reaching that goal. They're great about posting, so if you're on Facebook, you'll see cute little faces that,
And they are so proud.
I know.
Oh, these kids are just so proud of themselves.
So if you get a chance, write them, because I try when I see them to say, hey, congrats and stuff. And so if you get a chance and say, I'm a board member, this is awesome, feel free to do that, because I think it's pretty awesome. I do know that the parents pay attention to
They
this
do.
stuff. Then on page 50, we have the report from Mary Ann Zermulin for support services. Carl is going well. There have been a few little bugs, but nothing that the staff has not been able to work through. One of the major things that they had a big snag with was the actual notices that were going out. There was some problems with those going out, but they are working finally. And we've got a couple of things behind the scenes that really wouldn't affect the patrons that we've got to work on. We have some cataloging stuff that we're going to have to redo, just because the way Carl migrated, it shows extra information and it's confusing to patrons in the catalog. So we'll be doing some database cleanup that we'll have to do throughout the year, which will be put as a project to some of the staff to work on. But overall, honestly, I've heard of some really nightmarish conversions, and it wasn't so bad. I think everyone was nervous. I think the staff did a great job. And just so you know, to work with the patrons if there were problems, we've been waiving fines and things like that so that we can work with people and make sure that if something happened during the weekend, a Memorial weekend, and maybe they haven't been back recently, we've been trying to work very, very hard with them. So, yes.
Some of the functionality with our app
Yes.
is not working.
It currently is not working, our app in the catalog, and that is not the catalog, it is actually our vendor Boopsy and our app. So we are aware of it, we're working with that vendor, but yes, you are correct, it is not working at this time. Then to move on, I also want to highlight, we have started going out to read boxes in May. So as you can see, there's been 5, on page 51, 5 weekly deliveries as of this report, which would have been through May, 43 adult items and 107 youth items circulating, and the parks are busy. We did have to wait on Rotary Park. It didn't get installed right away because we were having the box redone. It needed some repair, so that was a couple weeks that it was delayed, but is now back in the park.
How many parks and what are they?
We have three read boxes, one in Lakeshore, one in Rotary, and one in ITC. So there's 3 parks. And I currently have a 4th box that I'm I've heard that there might be some developments and things, so I'm waiting on Parks and Rec, and we'll see if.
So Pavilion Shores is not one.
Pavilion Shores is not one. I think they thought because of Lakeshore, but it definitely could be one if we wanted to, yeah, and easy for delivery.
It's a used park.
Yep. And then beyond that is statistics. If anyone has any questions about that, it goes through pages 50, I think it's actually through page 60, are our statistics. Lots of great things happening. And then the Friends, they have their minutes from their board meeting from May 9th. I'm happy to report that they did approve the wish list that was given to them from budget time. So if any of you are interested in joining us at the that's their annual meeting, July 11th, which is Wednesday at 7 p.m., please feel free to come that evening. I know Tara's planning to be there hopefully and speak, but if you'd like to join, that's when they do their check presentation. I will make sure, though, that if you can attend, that we bring them here and have that check presented again at the board meeting. Okay?
It's a great idea.
And that's all I have. Any questions? Yes, Bill?
The LED project.
Yes.
I see we're about a sixth of the way done. Have there been any surprises or issues structurally that he's come across? How's Keith's time working out, devoting it to both this and his normal duties? And the role of the assistant, has that been what we thought it would be?
Everything is going very smoothly. Your first question about any issues, we've had a couple lights that have flickered that were recommended, and then we've made some changes. We've put in different bulbs that are LED and trying them, and they seem to be working. So there is some testing going on a little bit to see which one on some areas. We've not run into any major issues when it comes to the installation. Keith actually, along with the assistance of Bill Babinek, has done a remarkable job. In fact, they're ahead of the game, and we are currently waiting for more bulbs to arrive. So they're actually not working currently overtime at this point. He's not, just because we don't have any supply left. So they got through the supply that we put a quick shipment on, and got through them and got them installed pretty quickly.
That
So
may
he's
be
doing-
just as well, actually,
Yeah.
so he's not working all these hours for
Right, right.
months at a time.
But he seemed to be okay. There didn't seem to be an issue. We did make some good accommodations, for his hours and stuff. And then he was working during the week and then off on the weekend in order to do that. So I feel very good about it. So basically now we're waiting. We have a shipment that's supposed to come the end of July. That's what they're telling us. So we're about 4 weeks now that we're going to be waiting. So what I have him doing right now is writing up a report of what's been done so far and some of the things that he's encountered. And then I'm going to be putting together a meeting in mid-July for the Building and Grounds Committee to get together so he can do a brief update for all of you. And then a new schedule, because we'll have to change the schedule from the original one that was what was shared with you.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Yes,
I have a question based on the Friends.
sure.
They talked about 5 new membership. I was wondering if there's any follow-up from those showing an interest at Fox Run when you came to the expo a month or so ago?
I
They
think
did-
there
they did get
was,
some-
yes.
Yes, they did get some memberships from Fox
Was
Run.
there a follow-up with them, or just a thank you and that's the end of it?
Probably just a thank you
Yeah,
at that
that's-
point.
Yeah, it's important for everybody, but I think particularly for people my age, to know that they're contributing to something bigger than themselves, and so some type of an acknowledgement.
Okay.
Thank you for attending the expo, blah, blah, blah. It's a small thing, but it may not be a bad thing to do for people who are not octogenarians as well.
That's great.
People appreciate thank you cards.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, just something. Because we want more next year.
Yes, we
You
do.
see, and word of mouth is powerful in a community as close-knit as ours.
Okay. So we'll, at this point, is there anything else on that?
Any other questions? Great, thank you.
All right. Yes, yes. We're moving on to the committee reports. Item 13, starting with A, Policy Committee. I am the chair of that, and there is no comment on that. We're good. B, we'll move it over to Bill Lawler for HR Committee.
No new activity at this time.
Okay. C is Finance, the chair of Westerneck.
No, Melissa.
Augusta.
Melissa.
Oh, I'm sorry, Melissa.
Nothing new from our last meeting to report.
Okay, and D, I have a couple of things for marketing. So my thought is just to help our engagement. We've talked about that a few times at meetings, is to make the board accessible, a collective that our community sees, and I think we started with the shirts to do that. So one of the ideas was for the July meeting, we all wear our beautiful polo shirts that were purchased for us to show that spirit and hopefully take a group picture. I think that would be kind of a nice thing. The other thing is the Faces Project, and because it's so amazing, I don't know if you guys have seen the Faces messages in on the MPL page for Facebook. I'm going to let Julie explain it in depth
Sure.
because it's super cool if you haven't seen it, but
So David Silberman, who I think is just, he's got a very good artistic eye. It turns out, and when I had talked to him even more, he's full-time on our staff, he has done some photography, so I can see how he has this eye, but he has been matching up book covers and staff. and mirroring them together. So, and it's on Fridays that they post. So Hillary's, oh, I shouldn't have said, but Hillary's is coming out on Friday. But we'd like to, if we can, I've asked him to start looking for book covers based on your photos in the library to see if he can match you up as well to book covers he thinks might look like your profile. And so then we'll reach out to you. It takes some time. He has to literally, dig through covers and look at things, and then he has an eye to match up people's faces or hair or what it
Amazing.
is. I don't know if you had a chance to see Marcia's. It was Lady Diana, but it was her hair that matched everything, and then the way it, so cool.
It's amazing.
So this has become a new trend that libraries have been doing for a while, but David does a great job, and Fridays is when we post them. And I know, Melissa, you've followed, and so has Tara,
Yes.
with liking them and making comments. But we want to get you involved as well as board members. So just in case you get a call, you'll know why.
And my goal, in coming up with a few of these ideas as president, is just to really make us accessible and fun for the people that are watching us and seeing us and knowing that we're patrons as well, The other thing is
I
next.
just have to challenge. You really think people are watching us? It's a little challenge.
I think they will watch us if we're fun. I think maybe they're not, but
All right.
can we get them
It'll be a
engaged?
little- All right.
Marketing, that's my
I
committee.
don't mind if they don't watch us on TV. I'd rather them visit the building anyway. So,
Either way,
yes.
if we can help make someone more interested, I think that's my goal.
agree. Yeah.
And then the last piece, the last piece is, you see this full room, no, I'm just joking. The last piece is the library, well, this year, the library did Libraries Rock T-shirts.
Yes.
Well, I have this thought too late, right? But next year,
Yes.
we can all have the same summer reading T-shirt that the staff wears as well. We are a part of this system, and I think sometimes we are governing the system, but sometimes it's nice to also be a part of the community. And I think these things connect us to the community and to the staff and to the patrons. So
It's a
that's
great
my thought
marketing
process.
tool if you're going to wear
That's a
them
good
too.
one.
Yeah, it's
It's
morale
got to start
building.
somewhere. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So next year we'll get T-shirts, not this year, but we'll wear our polos that were bought for us last year and ordered for us with love and care. So those are my marketing ideas as that committee.
Well, I'm glad I didn't wear it tonight, because I didn't want to wear the same thing twice in a row.
It's a month in between, but I hear you. Well, she always wears that shirt. Okay. Moving on. E, and that is trustee Papard.
But there's strategic planning. They had a meeting on the 29th. Doreen totally lost it, so God bless Julie. She had a conference call with me, so that was helpful. So there's not a whole lot going on now, but watch out. We have a lot planned for August, September, October.
Okay.
So just we're taking a breath and getting ready for it.
Christina is currently working on a document that will give you an overall of the strategic plan. So I will see a draft in mid-July on that, and then we'll work from there. But that'll encompass the last 5 years. So she's working on that document now.
That
Nice.
would not be easy.
No, but the good thing is we have a lot of good documentation. So it's really just her putting it, but all the information's out there, which is great.
But it's the tricky part is pulling it together with enough punch that it summarizes everything without boring the reader with details.
Yes.
Because you could get lost in a sea of words, and
Oh,
we
for
don't
sure.
want that either.
And actually, we talked a little bit about maybe it being some form of infographic or something where it is more visual. So we'll see, I'll see what kind of designs she's coming up with. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to F. Now it's your turn. I was just thinking in advance to trustee Messernack.
The only thing in our area would be the LED project, which we already discussed.
Okay. Lastly, G with Bill Lawler.
Yeah, we understand we're going to be getting back into these. We did it 2 years ago, and there's a bunch, I
Time
guess, that
flies.
needs to be looked at again.
We will wait for the call.
Okay.
Time flies. Your fall will be busy.
Okay, so now, item number 14, public comment. In order to hear all citizens' comments at a reasonable hour, the library board requests that speakers respect the 5-minute time limit. This is not a question-answer session, therefore library board members will not respond to questions. It is an opportunity to voice your thoughts with the Novi Public Library Board of Trustees. And no one is moving forward, so I will.
I just have a little question. The fact that nobody's here, it's really kind of a good sign, because if there were problems, there'd be people here. So that's a good sign. I was wondering if we ever had a chance for like a call-in with questions or comments for people. Have we ever considered something like that?
I know that we follow protocol with the city.
That's
And-
true, and they don't.
Right.
That's true, okay.
I don't know if there's capabilities for it, but I guess I wouldn't want to do something that doesn't expand all the opportunities, but.
I'm wondering, in some way to communicate to people that you don't have to call the health department if you're upset with something, that if there's a concern that you have, how do you make it known?
Right.
Because you're so open at the library.
Right.
You really shield the board from getting any kinds of
Sure,
comments.
sure.
So,
But I think with that, someone might have just done that, if they were that concerned,
Yeah,
they
it's
might
true.
have just.
And we have
done that
gotten
route.
notes before from people who,
We-
on both sides. We have our
Yes,
correspondence.
we do.
But we also get, sometimes people write complaints.
Yep, absolutely.
And they get to us at times too.
I'll be very honest with
Yeah.
all of you. I hardly take major complaints. I mean,
Good.
we hear grumbles, with fines and things like that on a daily basis, absolutely. But when it comes to a major complaint, one, I'm trying to diffuse it all and meet with people in advance. But I've also encouraged people as well, if they're not happy with meeting with me and what we've discussed, to bring it to the board. I have no problem with that as well. I think that, I hope I've done a good enough job where that tends to be, once they've met with me, that seems to be the grounds for where it
Yeah.
stops, for the most part. But we don't get a lot. Or if we do, if I get something, because we have a complaint box, we have a comment and
Yeah.
complaint box right at the library. And there are, every day, there's something in there.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, but I have to tell you, most of them are, hey, this person on your staff is amazing, and thanks so much. And then what we do is we scan them and we send them to that particular person, and we put the department head on it, and we say, hey, congrats and nice job. This person said you did a wonderful job. So we really do hear, for the most part, more positive than we do
That's
negative.
good.
We do.
And I think what your point was, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that you just want to make it more accessible for people that
Sure
might not be
do.
able to get here.
I do.
Maybe we can put our heads together and think of something, I don't know, eventually.
I mean,
Did you have a
would
thought?
you want to address it, like, with council to see if it,
The problem with that is,
yeah.
I know.
if you
hook up
open up a phone
people,
call, it
I
could be
know.
coming from Russia, China, I mean, you don't know where
Right.
these people are coming from.
That's
and
true, Jeff.
We could
That's
be here
true.
for 3 hours.
That's
you
true.
know,
That's
so
just it.
if the people-
There's no way to vet it.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
great idea, but won't work. Thanks. Okay.
We're not dismissing you, we'll keep thinking.
I got it.
Yeah, no, it's a really good thought. I don't want you to feel like we're
No,
not
I don't,
valuing your
never,
thought.
never.
And the other thing is too, we do on a regular basis try to get feedback when it comes to surveys and things like that, and we leave them open-ended to patrons giving comments and concerns. You saw the technology survey we did in the spring, and there were things that people want to know, why don't you do this, and why aren't you doing this, or how come you don't have this, or, and so then we respond that way. And by the way, that information was put on the website so that patrons could
Good.
see those responses. We're getting ready for an information services survey. The reason why we haven't put it out, I wanted to wait until we had our strategic planning meeting, and I wanted to wait until we did our goal setting, because we had some conversations there about kind of where, the direction we're going. And then I'll be able to put those questions out there for patrons.
Yeah, very good. Okay, moving on to item number 15, matters for board action. A is approving 2018-2019 library board goals, and those can be found on 28.
They're on page 28, and I do have to admit to you, I added one thing without you knowing. I
I
don't know
like it.
if you found it or not, but it is under number 1, and it says new cafe lease and services, June 2019. I wanted to make sure that was noted for us as a goal this year.
Good. We've talked about it, so obviously you knew we'd agree.
Yes, I thought you would. It came to me in the middle of the night, I'm like, oh, I forgot that one, how could I forget that one? So anyways, so that's on there, but please review it. This was based on a wonderful conversation that we had
Yeah.
back on June 11th. I thank you for all your time meeting with me for about an hour, discussing how we can move forward for 18-19, knowing that we're kind of in a transition year because we're working also in tangent with some strategic planning as well. But this is what we've laid out for this year, coming up, starting July 1st.
I looked at my notes, and everything we discussed is
Yes.
absolutely in there
Great.
plus, so
Okay.
thank you.
Good.
Yeah, thank you for taking our ideas and making them.
Excuse me, talking about looking for the leads. Well, for the past 5, 6 months, I have not seen anything going against him or he's doing something wrong. It means he's doing okay?
He has turned his rent in on time, and we've not had any major issues until the health department this last time. So
He's behaving good?
he's turning his rent in on time.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion?
I know.
Any other discussion? No? Okay. All right, do I hear a motion?
So moved
To go.
to accept the goals.
Goals.
No, to accept
No,
the goals.
for the goals.
Accept the goals.
I second it.
Thank you.
Okay, did we got a second? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, and then B with the policy manual. I'll let Julie talk to that a little bit more.
So this will be to approve policy P1, library card issuance and renewal. So you have this at your desk or at your seat this evening. So in red is what we're adding. The purpose of the changes is to make our library card issuance more flexible. We have found that when we write specific things that we look for, which we've always asked for an electric bill and electric and gas bill. Sometimes people don't have those yet. When they're moving into
You
Novi,
wouldn't have it at Fox Run, for example.
correct,
That's a good
correct.
point.
And so we have found that we were too strict on the types of things that we were requiring. This policy opens us up a little more. It's only asking for proof of residency. Now, if someone comes in with their ID but has no way to prove residency, no piece of mail that has their name with the address that they want to put in, and it has to be a Novi address, then what we'll do, another option, which is in red, just the second little highlighted part in red in the first paragraph, is we will send a postcard out to the address that they're indicating. They can bring that then back in, and that's our way of verifying that that's the address they have. That gives us a form of check and balance. We want to give cards to our patrons. We have found that we have been really strict over the years, and so we do. We want to be more flexible. I've met with the staff, we've talked about this a number of times, and we're finally there to put it in place. The second part, the second paragraph that is a lot of red at the bottom, it's called Novi Resident Sponsor Card. We run into this where we have families that get an exchange student, or maybe have a loved one living with them for a while, and they want a card. Yet there's no way to, again, identify them as living at the residence, right? They don't have any proof. So a Novi resident can sponsor someone and take responsibility. They actually sign on the card, because we do have 2 signatures that we require if needed. So for an adult, for a child under 18, a parent has to sign, so we already have the 2 signatures. That sponsor would sign, and then the person who's getting the card in their name would sign as well. So this is another opportunity to, again, give a card out and make it easier and more flexible. I'm really excited about this policy today. I really am. What I'm hoping is that you don't need next month, that we could approve it tonight, because I've got a couple patrons that are waiting on us. They want to use the library.
And then on the other side, it looks like
Yes.
there's more in red.
Yes, so on the back side, there is one issue. We do get asked this, but not often, and it's the family card. Can everybody just be on one card? Unfortunately, through TLN, we can't. We don't have that capability, technology-wise, with them. We continue to look at it. We continue to ask if there's an opportunity for it, but it's just not there yet. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to put it in writing and let people know that at this time. And then we will continue to investigate that option.
And then a quick question on that note, isn't there like specific laws with privacy where that might be an issue?
Well, what we've done is, the parent would be signing a
I
like a
don't
family
mean-
card, and we would put all those people on it. So you don't anymore if the information is given. So
Okay.
it depends.
So if they sign off, then it's,
Correct.
everybody agrees to
Correct.
confidentiality is waived. Is what
Correct.
you're saying? Okay.
Anyone who would be on the card has access to the card and the information.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Okay.
Is there a time on the sponsor card So
It's,
for,
all of our cards renew 1 year. We have one exception to that, and that's a community we're working with where it's 3 years.
we're happy for
What is
that.
that unit?
Fox Run.
For them is 3 years?
It is, yes, because they don't change their address.
So why not for the board members too?
Because you are a resident of Novi, and you should be reflecting your resident and the policy.
Fox Run, Ernie Harwell always said, this is my last address on this side.
And we have found that. So it does make sense. We reach out to them, we go to them, we connect with them regularly. The reason for the card being 1 year, and I know we do have patrons that are upset by it,
Right.
but what they don't understand is we have such a transient community. We've changed over the last 20 years. We have a number of people that come and live in Novi only for a couple of years. We have people who change their phone numbers more often and their email addresses. And if we can't keep up on it, it becomes our fault that we're not reaching out to them, and we don't want it to be our fault. We want to make sure that we're building that relationship with the patron and making sure we're keeping up on that info. We don't mean it to be an inconvenience, but it is for us to have the best information to reach them. If they get their hold notices by email and then they get hacked and they change their email and they don't tell us, because we're not the first person they typically tell, at least in 1 year, we can touch base with them and try to get more information and update it. So that's what we found. It's been since I've been here that the change in the way the community is and people moving in and out, that we have found that we want to keep our records more current.
Do most libraries have the 1 year rule?
I have found that a lot more have gone to the 1 year, yes. And
Because
when
Ann
we
Arbor didn't.
looked to go to the 1 year, when we changed that policy, and I think, Craig, you might have just come on board when we made that change. So it's been 5, 6 years now. We did a survey of other libraries to find that out, and there were a number of libraries at 1 year for that purpose.
How about Rose, the new building has come like.
We are working with them, we've just started a relationship, so it's just newly forming. We just started, in April, we started connecting with them, and we've just started deliveries.
If you have like a skilled nursing and a rehab, you do not have the permanency
Correct,
of what we have at Fox Run. Because
Correct.
Fox Run's pretty permanent.
yes.
You know, you don't want to go off feet first.
Right.
And that was going to be my question along with that. Just, I love the idea of the 1 year for most people. I understand why we would do it for Fox Run, and I was just going to, for fairness purposes, I was going to
Looking
ask
into
if
the
other
others,
residencies like Fox Run have been offered the opportunity or are being explored.
Well, Fox Run really is the only one that serves that way, in that
Okay.
capacity. When we visit Meadowbrook and when we visit Waltonwood and stuff, that's different. And we're actually going out to them and bringing them materials every month, which we don't do at Fox Run because of the library they have on site.
Okay.
So there is a difference of the relationship.
That's helpful. It's good to get that,
Yep,
like,
absolutely,
noted, you know,
sure.
just so everything seems fair when people
Yes,
read and
yes.
watch.
But
Because
we're
I think
always-
people are watching
We're always
this.
looking at things and we're always trying to make it as easy as possible, so. you know.
Absolutely.
you,
You guys are doing a great job. Thank you. Okay,
I
so
can't-
do I hear a motion?
Well,
No, I
are there any
haven't.
questions? Sure, yeah.
I can't think of any, but are there any drawbacks to becoming less restrictive in issuing the cards?
Honestly, I can't.
question.
I mean, there's always, could be, someone who comes in and gives us, a fake address. But it's the library.
But they could do that anyway, right?
If they didn't let them have it, and if there must be a purpose for them needing what they need. So I'd rather go that route than to be too strict and keep telling people, nope, when you get all this done, and this done, come see us again. I just don't think that's the best service.
I think that what you're doing is very much in line with our goals.
It is.
For more
Much more
outreach and,
customer friendly.
Much more customer friendly. So-
Include.
Yep, it
Inclusive,
is.
yes,
Yes.
inclusive, yes.
We want everyone to have a card. So we don't
Yeah.
want them to have that, that incident where they're coming in and maybe they just brought the driver's license in and they just moved and, when someone moves, you all know this, you've all been through a move. What I find as a compliment is that they move and in the first week they make a move, they actually come to the library to get a library card. Then we're turning them away because they don't have anything yet. And I just find that to be really hard to do. I don't want to do it.
Yep.
So,
So you're really asking us to step outside our norm of business, which is with the policy we receive and discuss it 1 month, and vote on it the next.
I am, just
So
because I
you're-
find that
You're
it's,
asking not only for approval, but a deviation from our standard operating procedures.
I am, and the reason why is summer readings here, and we're actually getting an influx of families and people,
Okay.
you know, summer's a time for moving. People have just moved into might be moving into a new home and stuff, we're actually
Right.
seeing some of this, and we look bad, we look negative.
So you've seen us
So,
turn away
yeah,
people.
we've already seen it, yes.
So what if I do a motion that suggests that for the purpose of policy P1, library card insurance renewal change, that for this one policy, a month, that we deviate from our standard
That would be fine,
procedures.
yep, because typically I
to-
understand.
To read and have a month
Yep.
separation.
Yep.
So that we would receive it and vote on it the same night.
Correct.
So,
That would be great.
Is that, so that will kind of cover it.
Yeah.
So is there a second?
Second?
All in favor? Say
Aye.
aye. Aye.
Awesome, thank
Sounds
you.
like it's
And then the
I've got some
next-
patrons.
The next thing is that you have to approve the policy.
Right,
And who wants to do
Okay.
that?
Do I hear a motion to approve the policy?
Craig should do it, because his name is on the one we're approving.
it does get changed to Tara's name, though.
Another volunteer.
That's right.
Yes, I make a motion that we approve the P1 library card issuance renewal policy as presented.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay.
Thank you.
Approved.
Well done, board members.
Okay, thank you. And then item 16, we are going to go into a closed session that was requested.
Correct.
Do you need a motion to do that?
No,
I don't
you
think so.
don't. What will happen is we will have to come back,
Yep.
because if anything gets discussed and there's a decision, then you'll come back.
Yep,
for
and
that.
then we'll adjourn after coming back.
Correct.
Absolutely. So we can
Yes.
step away now.
Okay, great, thank you.
I think city council used to require us to. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's okay.
Hello, everyone. We are back. And I believe that we have a motion.
I'd like to make an emotion. I'd like to make a motion to approve a 2.5% salary increase consistent with city practices and based on the director's annual evaluation process with a 1% performance stipend effective July 1st, 2018.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. It's approved. Okay, and is there a motion for item number 17 to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you so much.
Thank you.